Okay, if you can hear me, clap once. All right, so we are going to today talk about the gold salt trade game. That's what I was looking for. That's where it is. All right. So, hi, I'm Mr. Framke. For those of you who don't know who I am, hi, Max. I know you. All right. So, all right. Yeah, the much taller and younger version of me is over there. Yeah. All right. So, we are going to talk about this gold salt trade game, which is a game that we started playing at Slavin's many, many years ago. It's a game that was made by me and Mrs. Stoddard. And it is a game that is a simulation of the gold salt trade between southern Spain and the Mali Empire, which is just south of the Sahara Desert in the modern-day country of Mali. Now, this trade was happening between the late 1200s to the early 1400s, so a little over 100 years of time. We're talking Middle Ages for those of you who would like to place it in that respect. So this is a long, long time ago. Now, the gold salt trade game was created in response to Miss Stoddard saying, I just can't seem to get students to understand the value and importance of salt in the Middle Ages. And so we created this game to sort of to illustrate the value of salt. And also, this is a game about trade. This is a game about economics. And I will also tell you that this activity is fun. Legitimately fun, not like school fun. Not that there's a difference between the two. Now, to illustrate that fact, before we started doing this game, the absentee rate the day before winter break was really rather quite high. I would guess, I don't have the stats on this, I'd guess the absentee rate would be somewhere around 25%, 25%, a lot of students being absent. In 2019, the last year that we actually did this game, we had a grand total of 1 student who was absent in 7th and 8th grade. Yes, it's something that students like, it's worthwhile doing. 7th graders, you'll get to do it in 7th grade and 8th grade. 8th grade, this is your only chance. And as a parent, I'm a little bummed that my daughter didn't get to play the game due to COVID. COVID, that's right. So, how many of you have played the game called Settlers of Catan? Okay, you love that game? Well, then great. Make sure you show up on Friday. So, this game is similar. Sam, I think I'm going to start right now. Would you please come over here, sit between Lily and Sloan, please? Let's just not even tempt fate. Now. I know, the whole YouTube world gets to wait while Sam does this. All right, so as Sam moves up to a more strategic location, here we go. So this game has 2 parts. The first part is the actual trade game of the gold salt trade game. The second part is a live auction. So you play the game to earn money. It's an economics game. Then, with the money that you earn from the game, you will use that money to bid on items at a live auction that we will be holding in the gym at the conclusion of the game. Now, it's not going to take much imagination for you to realize that the teachers are not going to be able to single-handedly purchase prizes for all 7th and 8th graders. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry. So, you have a homework project that you need to think about. Over the next 2 weeks, we need you to find items that you are willing to donate to the game that have value, but may not have value to you. In other words, do you have some video games that other people might like to have, but you just don't play anymore? How about games, books, puzzles, movies, stuffed animals? Do you have things in your house that are not used anymore but other people might like to have? We are asking you to donate those items for the auction at the end of this game. Another type of thing that works really well and that people are excited to purchase, if you would like to bring in baked goods, we can auction those off too. The teachers will keep exactly 0 of the items that are donated. Everything goes back to you. So the better the items are that are donated, the cooler stuff you get to buy. One year, you know what, in 2019, someone donated a boogie board.
Nice.
A knee board, I'm sorry, a knee board is really funny. We've had golf clubs, sporting equipment, that works really well.
Old books.
So, yeah, seriously, someone had a... Puzzles, yeah. Yeah, there was a family that did the competitive golf thing, and they had some extra golf clubs, so they donated those. It's perfect. Yeah, it starts with a P. If you can hear me, clap once. If you hear me, clap twice. So, the better you play the game, the more money you earn. The more money you earn, the more purchase power you have at the live auction. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. So I'll take questions at the end, but only at the end. So here's how the game works. So we're going to go to this screen here. All right. So we are going to be talking about the salt gold trade that occurred, actually let's go to this one here, between southern Spain and, so we're talking about southern Spain, in particular Malaga and Gibraltar here, through the Strait of Gibraltar to a town that still exists called Tangiers. Lily, what town is this? Exactly, Tangiers. Let's pay attention. All right, so then from Tangiers we go to a city called Fez, and then we go over the Atlas Mountains in Morocco, which are right here. And then once we get over the Atlas Mountains, what do we have? I wish we had dessert.
Which deserts? Oh my God. Sahara.
So then we have the Sahara Desert. All right. So, and then we enter the kingdom of Mali, where the salt and gold mines were.
The salt mines were actually up in the desert.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were up in this area here. And actually, this is kind of cool. If you go on Google Earth and you search around the Sahara Desert in this area here, you can actually see the ruins and see some of the salt mines, which is actually kind of cool.
I think they're still working today.
They might be.
Still where we get our some.
So going back to this. So looking at the map with the cities that we're talking about, so we're going Malaga, Tangier, Fez, from Fez to Sijil Massa. I do not believe Sijil Massa still exists. From Sijil Massa to Tengaza, and then from Tengaza you will have a choice. You can either go from Tengaza to Geni, which is where the gold mines are. You have to feel a little Forrest Gump moment there. From Tengaza you can go to Timbuktu, Tengaza to Gao, and so Gao and Timbuktu are on the Niger River right here. So this is the trade that we are going to be simulating in our school. Now, instead of a game board, we talked about Catan, instead of a game board, we're going to use the school. Instead of like little pieces, we are using you. You are moving throughout the school. So, you will be placed in groups of 3 to 4 people. You will be in one of 2 categories. You will be either a traveling merchant that is going between cities, or you are going to be in a classroom, and so you're going to be working in a city for the city. It's one of the 2. Questions at the end. And yes, I will be making your groups. not you. Groups will be composed of 2 7th graders and 2 8th graders for a group of 4. So everyone should know at least one person in their group from their grade. Okay? All right. If you are a traveling merchant, this game is easiest to understand if you are a traveling merchant, if we talk about a traveling merchant. So if you are a traveling merchant, you are going to start in the lunchroom. You will be given, it's me again. Here we go. So if you are in group M for merchant 13, you'll start with water and copper. You will be given multiple items of water and multiple items of copper. So then, in the lunchroom, you're going to take these items and you are going to trade with the other 25 merchant groups in the lunchroom. Each merchant group has a different set of resources, and in general, the groups will have one major resource, which is either water or food, and one minor resource, which is either a building material or some sort of other item. You don't know, as a traveling merchant, what other cities need to grow their city. So it is in your best interest, when you are doing your initial trading in the lunchroom, that you trade for as many different items as possible. Now, if you start with water and copper, and you are about to trek for hundreds, if not thousands of miles, what do you think you're missing? You're missing food. So that is going to be the other main item that you're going to have to trade for. Oh my God. Also, if you're a traveling merchant, you're going to need people, and you're also going to need animals to transport items. So this group is short on food, and this group is short on transportation resources, and we'll get to those in a second. But also, make sure you have as many different items as possible. So it's going to take about 15 to 20 minutes for the lunchroom trading to finish. So once that trading is done, groups will then leave the lunchroom. And remember, the lunchroom is Malaga, Spain. So they'll leave the lunchroom. And what do you have to do to go from Malaga to Tangier? Please don't say swim. Yes, Sam? Yeah, that's exactly right. You have to go across the Strait of Gibraltar. The Strait of Gibraltar, for the purposes of our game, will be between the lunchroom and the far door over by the playground. You are going to have to pay a boat pilot to escort you from the trading markets over to the door. And that boat pilot will have a key card to let you in.
Which, if you were a real life trader, you would have to pay to do that anyway.
Yes.
So it's all simulating what it would be like to be a trader.
Correct. So, then, once you're in Tangiers, once you get to Tangiers, each city required you to pay a tax to get in. So, to enter Tangier, what are you going to have to do?
Pay tax.
You're going to have to pay a tax. We'll talk about what those taxes are in a second. So you pay the tax in Tangier, then you are going to be able to trade in Tangier. Now in Tangier, you will see when you get to every city, there is a sign that looks like this. It tells you exactly what items are for trade in Tangier. So Tangier has cinnamon, bronze, elephants, and colored dye. So you can trade for these items, and then it'll be time to leave Tangier. To leave the city, guess what you were required to do? You had to pay a tax. So you'll have to pay a tax to enter as well as exit every city that we go to. So then, from Tangier, you'll go to Fez. So Tangier is going to be Miss Rivas's room. So you pay your tax, you get out of Tangier, Miss Rivas's room, and then you go to the city of Fez, which still exists today. Also, I believe a hat is named named for it. To get into Fez, what do you have to do? Pay a tax. There'll be other items for you to trade for, and then to leave Fez, you will have to pay a tax. So you'll go from Miss Wester's room. So we go Rivas to Wester. From Miss Wester's room, Fez, we will go to the ancient city of Mr. Martin's room. I know. They need to come up with a better... Oh, they had a better name. The better name is Sigil Masa. So to enter Sigil Masa, you will have to pay a tax. There'll be items in Sigil Masa for you to trade for. And then to leave Sigil Masa, what will you have to do? Yes. And then from Sigil Masa, you'll go to Tengaza, which does not exist today. What will you have to do to get into Tengaza?
Pay tax.
And then you can trade. To leave Tengaza, you have to
Pay tax.
and then get over here. So to enter the gold and salt trading cities, you will also have to. Okay. Now, back in these times, we did not have GPS in the 1300s. Shocking as I know you find that. So, it's a lot easier for merchants to know one section of this trade route, not the whole trade route. So most groups, not all, but most groups will be dealing with just one section of the trade. So if I look at this group here, where is this group going to be centering their trade?
Fez.
Between Tangier and Fez. And so each group will be given a passport, and so you're looking at the passport page up on the board. Your physical passport will look like this. This is the same one. So on the front of the passport, you have the travel that you've gone through so far on the actual map. On the back, you will have pictures of different cities that are on the trade route. In order for you to get paid, you have to name all of these cities correctly. Now the catch is, you're only going between Tangier and Fez. So how are you gonna go about labeling these?
Oh.
This
Along
is a
the
stumper.
trade routes, trade goods were shared, but what else was shared along the ancient trade routes? 8th graders. What else was shared? Knowledge.
Yes.
Religions. Ideas. So you can talk to each other.
Actually, this game does not work if you don't talk to each other, so keep that in mind. So, you will have to talk to other traders so you can figure out what these other cities are. That is something you're going to have to do in order to get paid. So, on the inside of your passport, it talks about the taxes that you have. So, entering, if you choose to leave your designated trade route and go into Sigil Masa, Timbuktu, Gao, or Jenny, the tax is twice your normal route. So the double tax is 1 liquid, 1 food or grain to enter, 1 liquid, 1 porter to exit. Going northbound, you have to, if you're not on your normal trade route, 1 liquid, 1 salt or 2 golds, and exiting 1 liquid, 1 food or grain. But if you stick to your trade route that you're designated to stay on, it is only 1 item as you go through. Okay? Does that make sense? Is it in your best interest to stay on your trade route or to meander to other places? To stay on your trade route. All right.
What if you needed other goods? Like, would that be a time that you go to trade routes?
That is a great question. So, if I needed something, let's say, so let's take a look here. So, this group is going to get $15 for every salt that they end up with. They're gonna this one group will get $5 for every gold, and they'll get $2 for every cotton. So, what does this group really want in the end? Salt. What else? And so this group, in order to get these items, is going to have to communicate with other groups so that they can tell, hey, they can make deals with other trading groups. Could you go to Sijomasa and get me cotton? I need cotton. Sorry. That makes for great video, right? Or, better, you can talk to your city. So this group may want to talk to Fez and Tangier. Right, yeah, I need water. So talk to your cities, figure out what the cities want, and trade with the cities. Yes, I'm going to do it. Tastes great. That's right. For you at home, I just took a chug out of my Oat Planet oat milk vanilla, but don't worry, it is sweetened. It has sugar. All right. So everyone is pretty excited to see a grown-up drink out of the carton. All right. It's like watching Adam Sandler. So the key here is the more you communicate between your cities that you're in and other trading groups, the more money you'll make. It is highly profitable for you as a merchant in the lunchroom to talk to other merchant groups and have some sort of an alliance so that you can build your own trade route to figure out what other cities need to bring goods and services between the cities. That is in your best interest to make that happen. So yes, trading is going to, and communication is the way to make the most possible money. So that was a good question. All right. So that is if you are a traveling merchant, you're going to be following the trade route, trading for items. If you are in a city, here is what you're going to be looking for. Now I'm going to show you a city that we're not using. Is that Cairo? Gao. Tell me if you see Cairo. There we go, Cairo. Okay. So we're not using Cairo this time around. No big deal. So, in Cairo there are different items for trade. Again, we have the map. So each city, I think I already said this, each city will get 2 of these posters, 1 at each door. And so what you're going to do is you're going to try to put together these bundles. So your card or your poster will have this on the back. So you're going to start the game, not in the lunchroom if you start in a city, but you will start the game in your actual classroom. And so what you're going to be doing is when the traveling merchants are in the lunchroom doing their major trade, you're going to be setting up your city. So you're going to be collecting taxes. So you need to set up a way to make sure people come in and pay taxes on the way in and the way out. So you will probably have to come up with a desk configuration and people working that door to make sure everyone pays tax on the way in and on the way out. That is going to be a requirement. Questions at the end. You are also going to have to create a trading area for you and the traveling merchants. So you have items that you want to trade. You need to make sure that there is space to trade. You'll have to set up a hospitality table. That is misspelled, but that's okay. For travelers who get stuck in sandstorms. Obviously, we're going through the Sahara Desert. Sandstorms are a thing, and they can be devastating. So here's what's going to happen with sandstorms. Every so often, there's going to be an announcement made, either on the announcement or one of the teachers will just go in the hallway and start shouting, sandstorm. I don't know, I would like to, that will probably be my job. It would be fun to disturb the elementary kids. So if I can use a loudspeaker, I will.
I have a bell, I can contribute.
Cowbell.
I have a cowbell.
All right, so if you get stuck in a sandstorm, here's what's going to happen. If you're a traveling merchant, you get stuck in a sandstorm, you have to immediately turn around and go back to the city that you just left. Yes, you'll have to pay the tax again. As soon as you enter the city after the sandstorm, you'll go to the hospitality table. And at the hospitality table, you and your group may not leave that table until you successfully complete a math worksheet. Yes!
Because it's fun.
Because it is fun.
It is fun.
I will tell you right now
Jason looks like he's gonna cry.
that the math worksheet will be an order of operations problem. It is something that everybody can do. Oh, actually, that would be that'd be a good one too. Have to write it. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. Now, so this worksheet, it only has 4 problems on it. You will turn it in to the hospitality clerk, who will grade it. If it is all correct, you may leave without an additional penalty. Yes, you have to pay the tax to leave anyways. If one of the questions is wrong, the hospitality clerk will say, I'm sorry, you only have 3 of the 4 correct. They don't have to tell you which one you got wrong, but they do have to be honest about the number you got correct. Then you will redo the problems, try to find the error, and to grade the worksheet a second time will require a penalty of 1 item of the hospitality clerk's choice that you have.
So like if they needed to forget what they add what they wanted.
Yes. Yes. Now, if so, I encourage you to work together on the worksheet. Again, order of operations, there's nothing crazy on it. Everyone should be able to do it. You shouldn't have to, just make sure you do it right the first time. And it won't be too bad. Also, this game will include some bandits, so beware. But bandits will be identified by having a card that they will show you so that they can prove that they are the official bandits in the game. So if someone says they're a bandit and can't show you the official notification, then they are not. I want to be clear on that. No.
Are the kids bandits or like you guys gonna choose some?
Teachers are going to only be observers in this game. So, there is only one time. There's only one time where teachers did intervene, and that was when the salt markets were asking too high of a price, and as a result, no trade and no movement between rooms could happen because they were asking a ridiculous amount. And just like in real life, when tariffs are too high and trade stops, everything stops, right? So, the teachers went behind the tables that the traders were trading the salt and started practically giving it away until the price came down to a more reasonable level. That is the only time the teachers have intervened. But teachers are mostly observers. This is a student-run activity. Make sense? Okay. So, talked about bandits, talked about cities. Can you think of anything I have missed?
I don't think you've explained how cities can win this.
Oh, right.
game.
Thank you.
You've only talked about
So,
traders.
for cities, here's how the cities get paid. Cities will get paid by bundling resources together so that they can build their city. To build a city, you need liquids, foods, you need building materials, you need people to actually build things, and you also need some just other stuff to keep citizens happy. Every city has a different listing of resources required to make money. So this city, Cairo, will get $250 if you have 3 liquids, 3 grains, 3 foods, 3 metals, 3 porters, 2 miscellaneous items, 2 things of concrete, and 1 thing of dye. Now, if this city also has 5 elephants, they can double the value of one of the bundles. The $150 bundle, it's half the value, but it is more than half the resources. So really you want to concentrate on getting these bundles. So for city dwellers, communication is very important. What do we need to trade for? If you have one person as a city folk who is organizing the bundles while the game is going on, you're probably going to be more successful because you can that person can tell the traders what you need at that moment. So the better you communicate, the more money you will earn. Obviously, cities that don't sell gold and salt will earn money with gold and salt, but you will earn a lot more money with these items. All right, Mason looks like he's about to fall asleep. All right, so just like the we talked about the cotton, right? The 3 of okay. So if I am a traveling merchant, it's the same basic idea. So if I am this group here, $15 for copper. That's interesting. That may be switched, but $5 for gold. I understand why. And $2 for salt. So different traveling merchant groups need different items. Yes. Okay. At the end of the game, you will cash out. So this group here is traveling between Gao and Timbuktu. Gao being their home. Gao is a salt mines trading area, so that's why salt is worth less for them. So notice how it says home underneath Gao. That is a cue that you are going to cash out with the teacher who is running the city of Gao. So teachers will cash out and give you cash at the end of the game. It's going to be photocopied play money, not real cash. Sorry. Yes. Okay. So does that make sense? So if you are in a city, you'll just cash out with the teacher who's running that city. So that is really the only time the teacher actually has a part to play in the game, at the cash out. So this game is going to start immediately after lunch. So we're talking at, was it 1:30?
Not today.
Not today. This is Friday the 16th. So
We will have a shortened day in the morning.
we will have a shortened day in the morning. So in the morning of the 16th, you will have an awards ceremony. That's the honor roll as well as the 7 Habits Award. Then there'll be a shortened schedule until lunch. You will have first elective. You will not have last elective. So we will play the game. The game will take roughly an hour, maybe a little bit more. So 1:30 to 2:30, or probably 1:30 to 2:45, we play the game. And at 2:45, we will have the auction. The auction tends to take more time than we have, so just know that you obviously can leave at 3:15, but if you want to stay for the full auction, you may be leaving at 3:30.
Really?
Yeah, really. But no big deal.
Maybe we should just fix auction time for the Spanish stuff.
Are there any questions about the game? Are there any questions about the game? Yes.
During a sandstorm, if you're already in a city,
If you are in a city, you are protected.
okay. You
So
don't have to go to the last city.
no. So if you are in a city, you are protected. That's the value of the cities. Do you want to linger in the hallways?
Probably not.
No. Yes, Iba.
Can we evade taxes if the people in the cities are slacking in taxes?
If you here's the level of honesty that I expect. If you are asked to pay tax, you need to pay the tax. If there is no one manning the door and you walk in, well, too bad, so sad. I don't expect you to leave the tax at the door with no one taking it.
I'm about to employ many distractions.
Yeah. Nate.
Are bandits just in hallways, or can they also run you in like a city too?
The bandits will only operate in the open desert. Yes.
I don't wanna linger in hallways.
Are bandits caused by sandstorms?
No.
And would bandits just take an item from
If you are caught by the bandit, you will they will display a little card and it'll say what you have to do. Yeah. Yes. I have no idea. Yes.
Who is like gonna be the people that are like during the sandstorm, like when you have to do math? Who's gonna be like the one doing it if there's no teachers that like takes notes?
So each city is required to have someone who works that hospitality table, the recuperation area. That is who's required to check the answers. So the city needs to figure that out at that first 15-minute period where the traders are trading. The city needs to get organized and who's doing what job. Is that a good enough answer? Okay. Yes, sir.
how do bandits get paid?
Bandits will be part of a city, so they'll get their normal cut from the city, and they will also get whatever. So they're stealing things for the city. No. All right. So finally, the last thing on this one. So in your groups, you will earn money. That group is going to split the money evenly amongst all of the people in the group. Then, as soon as the cash is evenly distributed, the group is done. You, for the auction, may choose your friends to bid on items in the auction. So once the auction starts, you do not have to stay in the groups that the teachers made. You may pick your own groups to bid on stuff. So when it comes to baked goods for turning in for the auction, I want to be very clear on something. Don't you dare go home and tell your parents, Mom, Dad, Mr. Framke told me to tell you that you have to bake him a cake. I am not saying that. What I am saying is that you should bake a cake to donate it for the auction, not your parents.
I don't want to.
I think, I don't know. I've seen some really wicked good cakes.
I've seen
Yes.
some good food come in.
That's a good point. If you are doing baked goods, when you turn it in, could you just put a note with common allergens? So if it has nuts or dairy or whatever, just say that. Yes, Max.
Can I scavenge through my pantry and find anything that I don't want and just donate it to the auction? Would that work?
Remember, it has to be something that other people might want. If you give me a can of Brussels sprouts, I'm gonna throw it right at you. Progresso soup, I think you may be leaving the school with Progresso soup.
What about a can of peas?
Do you want that?
Do you want that, Iba? Liar. So I will take any more serious questions. Sam?
I need the buzz.
Yes.
So if someone says like $10,
I need the mom.
Yep, that's exactly how it works. And so the highest bidder gets it. And so does that mean some people may get multiple things and other people get nothing? Yes. Yes, there are winners and losers. Oh, that reminds me. Every year there is a merchant group who, quote unquote, dies in the desert because they don't have enough resources to enter a city. That happens every time.
don't pay the taxes.
So, make sure you trade for enough items in order to make it in and out of cities. That is the last thing you want to do, to end up with nothing. Yes.
Where does the money go after it's the auction? Like,
It's paper money. It goes in the compost bin.
Or we reuse it.
Or we reuse it. Yes, Tyler. It is not advisable, but again, student-run activity. The only safe place to trade is in the cities. But I'm not stopping you from it. Yes.
Wait, so like, if like you're in a sandstorm and you don't have the tax to like get into like a city, you basically die.
Yes.
Oh.
That is exactly how that works. I'm glad you understand. And that's how it happens. So you need roughly a minimum of 15 waters and 15 foods. So if a group only gets that amount at the initial trading and gets caught in a sandstorm, then either they get stuck in the desert or they get stuck in a room that they can't leave because they can't trade for the things. So have more than you think you need. Yes.
Do you have to pay tax to get back to your home city?
Yes, but it's less. It's much less. Yes.
What is the tax for getting into the city?
Did I not talk about that?
Whatever the city.
So it depends on each city.
It's time to go though.
It is time to go. So in your passport, it tells you specifically what the taxes are. Okay? Yes. There's no jail. Yes.